Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome to this trailer reaction video. Today we're taking a look at a trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and specifically for the expansion passes that are coming out on June 17th called the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. Now before we watch the trailer, I feel it is important for me to be completely transparent about my thoughts on the main game. So let me run down really quickly the pros and cons that I had of the main game, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Let's start with the cons and then move to the pros. The first con for me was that not all the Pokemon were available in the game from the get-go. My second criticism is I think that Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing are just a worse version of Mega Evolutions. My third criticism is that the game is very easy and the story is very short. It's probably the least amount of content that we've had in a Pokemon game. Apart from the wild area, which I believe shows the most promise for Pokemon games going forward, the problem for me was the raid battles got very repetitive very early on, and ultimately they're just not that fun. The main positive takeaway for me of Pokemon Sword and Shield, as I've already kind of explained, was the wild area. The wild area gave us a little bit of a glimpse of what a completely open world RPG Pokemon game might be like. And that really makes me excited for future Pokemon titles. Hopefully they're able to adjust some of the not so greats, mix it with the fully open world element that they kind of added in with the wild area, and create something really special in the next installment. Now that we've got all that stuff out of the way, you guys know how I feel about Pokemon Sword and Shield now. Let's take a look at the expansion pass trailer that should give us all the details we need to know about the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra DLCs. The hell was that? I think I just saw Giratina. Think. That's cool. Alright, the Isle of Armor. Kangaskhan. I'm assuming that a lot of these Pokemon that they're showing are not Pokemon that were in the base game, but are going to be added to Isle of Armor. And those are the two, like, adversaries, right, for each game. Blastoise, hell yeah, okay. I do not like how Blastoise looked in his Gigantamax, but whatever. Another fighting animal type. He's basically just Pancham. If I remember correctly, his evolution looks pretty cool, though. Yeah, this guy is cool. That guy just kind of looks like exactly the same as the other one, just bigger. Ah, yes. The environments look really good. Alright, so this is now the Crown Tundra. It looks like the new areas are going to be kind of large open areas and not very many routes, at least as far as I can tell. And those are the Gigantamax forms of... Are they the Gigantamax forms, or did they just change what they look like of the original three birds? Not 100% sure on that. Okay. Available June 17th. Hey guys, sorry for the quick interruption. If you're watching this video right now, there's a good possibility that you are not yet subscribed to the channel. I would appreciate it very much if you enjoyed the reaction to please hit the like and subscribe button here on my channel. If you are already subscribed, you may not know that I am live 6 days a week on twitch.tv/JavaAkuma. Please head over to twitch.tv/JavaAkuma, drop a follow. You'll be notified the next time I go live. Now let's get into the discussion of the trailer. Okay, let's kind of go back through this and kind of examine each part. So this new slow bro, I'm assuming it's a Galarian form of Slowbro. That seems cool. I kind of like it. He's got a bazooka hand, kind of like Mega Man. They added the purple to his pinkish color. It looks fine. There's nothing, whatever. The shell happened to bite his hand instead of his tail. I guess that's the difference here. It looks pretty cool. Let's see. I think so. Through here, it seems that the idea was not only to show kind of the new areas, but also some of the new Pokemon, or some of the Pokemon that weren't in the original game that are going to be added in the expansion pass. So we have people. That's obviously the new fighting type. This is Luxray, which one of my absolute favorite dog Pokemon. I think they're fucking cool looking. Absol. What I like is the areas are really nicely put together. I think one of the biggest problems that a lot of people had in the original Wild area was that kind of the background graphics looked really low res and really kind of not great. I think we're seeing that in a lot of the backgrounds here still. I think the mountains, they look fine for being just like a background thing, but we know what the Switch is capable of in terms of performance, especially with Breath of the Wild and other open world games graphically. And I think it's a little lacking in terms of background textures and stuff like that, which really isn't that big of a deal in a Pokemon game. Let's be real. Pokemon's more about the gameplay and stuff. A background is a background. It doesn't have to be super detailed. I'll reiterate again. I was one of those people who was very disappointed when I heard that the National Dex was not going to be in the game. Also, when I heard that they were going to be adding more Pokemon to the game through paid DLC, I was very frustrated as well, because they should have been there in the first place. And the fact that they're not, now you have to pay for access to them. And, of course, there's going to be people who are like, you don't have to pay for access to them. Yes, you do. You either have to pay for access to them, or you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get them, which nobody wants to do that. So it's basically a pay to get, more Pokemon in the decks that should have been there in the first place. But, okay, moving on. I do like all of the areas seem to all be kind of like the Wild area, big open spaces. I'm not sure if they're adding more routes or if the areas will be specifically open spaces. I think it would behoove them to add only large open areas, because I think what people liked most about Sword and Shield was not the routes. The routes were very forgettable. They're very linear. I think a lot of people really love the Wild area. So if they're going to add more content to this game, I think more wide open spaces like the Wild area, so we can kind of further expand what a wide open Pokemon RPG would look like, would be good. And I think people would really appreciate that. Kangaskhan, I like Kangaskhan. More Pokemon that they're showing. The two adversaries. If I remember correctly, you guys can correct me in the comments, I'm sure, but if I remember correctly, they change based on which game you have. So if you have one game, you get one of the characters. If you have the other game, you get the other characters. And if I remember correctly, your DLCs are not purchased per account. They're purchased per game. So you have to buy the DLC for both games. So if you want Isle of Armor and Crown, the other one, you have to, I think, again, you guys please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on this, but I think you have to buy them per game you have. So if you own both games, you have to buy the DLCs multiple times. I'm not 100% sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was one of the complaints, at least early on, that people had. So these are the Gigantamax evolutions of Venusaur and Blastoise. Unfortunately, Venusaur's looks pretty cool. I mean, Venusaur's kind of just looks like Vileplume a bit, in a way. It's like Venusaur had sex with a Vileplume, and that's what came out. They just made the flower kind of bigger on the back, which, okay, that's fine. I mean, it looks all right. Whatever. Blastoise looks really bad, especially when you compare the Mega Evolution of Blastoise, which looks fucking awesome, to the Gigantamax evolution here, where it looks like they literally just took all the little bumps in his shell and just added guns. Which, if I was a Pokemon, I'd want my guns to be facing forward so that I could see what I was shooting at instead of backward, in which I had to turn around and hope that I was firing at the target correctly. That seems really poorly designed and weird. Unless the guns come out and shoot forward, which I don't think they do, though, because I think at some point we see him turn around to attack. Yeah, right here. He is completely not looking at his enemy and attacking, which, again, you'd think you want to actually face the enemy to be able to attack it. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but oh well. All right, and then we got to look at the new Pokemon that they're adding, the new fighting type legendary. I don't know if he's a legendary or just a special DLC event Pokemon or what he may be. It reminds me a lot of Pancham, the panda fighting type. You get Pangoro and stuff out of it. I do think that his evolution looks quite cool. If I can find it here, this guy. Nope. This guy. Nope. God damn it. This guy. I think he looks pretty awesome. Still reminds me of Pangoro, but, you know, oh well. I think at the end of the day, if you're expecting a lot of creativity from the Pokemon team at this point for new Pokemon, you're just going to set yourself up for failure. So I think we should expect more from them so that they actually deliver. But honestly, the last 3-4 generations have been really, really just underwhelming in terms of newly designed Pokemon. This is the weird deer legendary guy. I think it's a deer. I don't really know. It looks like a deer, sort of. I don't fucking know, dude. Got the Triforces on it, though. Maybe Zelda will show up. Link will show up, help us through the tundra. All right, so this is the new tundra area. This place looks like it's going to be more ruins-based. You got all the Reggies in this section, which seem like the story might evolve around the Reggies and going into these different tombs and catching them. Possibly. I don't really know. But that's kind of the vibe I got from the trailer. This guy seems to be like your expedition guide sort of person. I don't think he's going to be like an adversary and more of like a helper. You don't really have adversaries in these games anymore. Rivals don't really exist. People who you have to overcome and kind of shit on you throughout the course of the game. In which I actually really enjoyed. I enjoyed overcoming that asshole at the end of the game, or like every time I beat him, it was a nice feeling. This is another new big open area. The cool thing is you can kind of tell when the areas are big and open because you can see the raid little rock formations with the the pink whatever shooting out from them. So I think maybe you got one or two in the very distance back there. One definitely right here, it looks like. So these areas look like they're going to be large open areas because of those raid. Yep, you can see them in every single shot here, which I hope was... And if, I mean, you got Mewtwo. All the legendaries are back. The last kind of portion of this trailer is showing you that all the legendaries are here. We already knew that because of the people that data mined the game, and all the models for the legendaries already existed in the game. So it's nothing new to anyone that we were going to get those eventually at some point. I don't know. I don't know if I like the new looks for. I think Moltres looks really cool. Zapdos kind of looks like Doduo, like an upgraded Doduo. He doesn't really look like he should be able to fly. His wings are like really small, and he just kind of looks like a, I don't know. Articuno looks cool. You don't really get a good shot at him. I think there are way more detailed photos that you can Google online if you haven't yet of what these guys look like. They look all right. I don't know. I don't really understand why they needed to change them. They've been doing that, with their Galarian forms and stuff. It's fine. It is what it is. And then lastly, they show the starter Gigantamax forms, which are those added to the game already, or do those come with the DLC? Because I remember when the game first came out, I don't think the Galarian or the Gigantamax forms of the starters were available, which to me seemed really weird because your new like whole thing is Gigantamaxing, and you would think that they would want to tie that to the starters somehow and not just random Pokemon throughout the game. But I've been wrong so many times that I don't know what they're trying to do at this point. But yeah, I mean, the rest of it seems fine. If I remember correctly, these are $15 each. $15 for Sword, or $15 for, I keep forgetting the names of them, Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra a piece, so $30 for both. Hopefully there's enough content to justify that. The fact that they're adding more Pokemon, I like. Okay, given the circumstance, obviously they're not going to go back and make it free and add the national decks and all that stuff. So given the circumstance, I do like that they're adding in some people's favorite Pokemon. I think that's very important, and it's good that they're adding those back in. I like that all of the legendaries, every legendary seems to be added into the game. I like all the content that they're providing in this. At the end of the day, I hope that this expansion pass and the DLCs that come with it, the new areas, the new Pokemon, all this stuff is very fun. I hope that everyone that enjoyed Pokemon Sword and Shield really get what they want out of these passes. I myself will be looking forward to the next Pokemon game. Now, this wasn't like a super positive reaction and discussion, and I had a lot to say. Not all of it positive, but I really appreciate you guys coming by. I hope that if you liked the video, please hit the like button, also subscribe and hit the bell. You guys know everything on YouTube. Do all that stuff. And if you want to continue the conversation in the comments below, please do so. I am here and I respond to almost everything.